G'day, I'm Dale, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Ireland's artist from Eurovision 2022, Brooke. Welcome to Aussie Vision.
Hello. I love that. G'day. G'day.
How is your g'day? Have you perfected it yet while in Australia?
Yeah, I've been actually, my Australian accent is elite, I think. Good.
Well, look,
Yes.
you've been here for almost 2 weeks now, I think, isn't it? Is it your first time out here or not? And how are you enjoying it so far?
It's my first time here ever. I didn't know what to expect. I'm not gonna lie, the plane journey was incredible. Everyone's like, did you like how'd you get on? It was a really long journey. I was like, no, that's the first time I've ever had time to myself in the past 68 months. And it was delicious. And I watched The Last of Us and I cried I went through so many emotions in that plane journey. It was epic.
I think that's the first time anyone's actually said they've loved the long
I know.
flight from Europe to Australia.
I'm
Oh
like a
God.
cat though. I like really small enclosed spaces.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the flight because I mean you obviously got well rested because you've been up to so much since you've been here.
Hmm.
Like we've seen pictures of you at the footy, we're seeing
Yeah,
pictures of you
go
at the
Bulldogs.
at the Formula One and a bunch of other stuff. Have you had any particular highlights so far?
To be honest, the football was incredible. I had no idea what they were doing with the ball. I loved the outfits. It was fabulous. They were, it was very enjoyable. Apart from that, like Formula One, I'm actually a massive fan anyway. Ever since Drive to Survive came out like years ago, I've now indulged myself in that world. So it was incredible for it to be in Melbourne. My brother actually still isn't speaking to me because I got to go and he didn't. He says, Zach, learn the guitar, bitch. And oh, sorry, I cursed. Sorry. No, learn the
Right.
guitar. I said, learn the guitar and you can come on tour with me.
And what about the shows themselves? Obviously, they looks like the fans have been absolutely loving it and loving your performances, of course. How have you found the Aussie fans out here?
Oh, incredible. I can't even like describe it. So basically, I was doing Dancing with the Stars and it's so different from
Mm.
singing like your own music. So basically, with the dancing, your body like takes over and you can't take in anything around you. Like the only thing I could see was Robert, like my partner, or my hands and my legs, and that was it. Like there were short glimpses. You're just not like in touch with yourself at all compared to performing when you're singing. I can see every single person in the room. So I was kind of scared to come here because I was like, I'm halfway across the world. I'm actually the full way across the world. And I'm from Ireland, like who's gonna know my music? So every time, like whenever I started in Perth, I was like, hey, you might not know this one. This is called Heartbreaker or Tongues. And they were like, and they were I could see them moving the words in front of me, and I've cried everywhere I've went, really. So that was good. It's incredible. It's so good. I'm having the best time of my life. It feels like a fever dream.
That is so good to hear. It is amazing. And hopefully, do you feel like now coming out, seeing the fans here and understanding how much they love Eurovision and love the artists who perform in Eurovision, that why Australia is so obsessed with Eurovision? Are you getting a sense about like why we're there?
Well, no, but see, I was asked. I was like, "Well, like, why is Australia? Why is Australia in the Eurovision?" And it's like, oh my God, I don't know if anyone's as passionate about the Eurovision apart, like aside from you guys. And the only reason why I can put it, the only thing I can put it down to is passion. And like the Eurovision community is the most inclusive place and safest space I've ever been in. So for me to see how you guys connect with it, it all makes sense. And the thought of you not competing in the future kind of is soul destroying and heartbreaking to me. So I really think that the broadcasting people need to come to one of my shows and see what the hell is going on.
Yeah, true. Hopefully we still get to have some kind of relationship in the Eurovision in the future. We will wait and see on that one. But yeah,
Hmm.
Aussie fans are super passionate, obviously. And another kind of question about you being out in Australia, were you worried about anything like snakes or spiders or sharks or anything along like that?
So Ronan, who's traveling with me, my manager, is you can't say the S word around him. So funny. I'm like, "Ah," and like scaring him, and he's like, Brooke, Like literally, it's not for the faint of heart. But the funny thing is, I actually used to be the snake and rat handler in a petting zoo when I worked in what I worked in one in uni.
No
So
way.
yeah, so I'm kind of like Bear Grylls out here.
Are you going to have an opportunity to like maybe go somewhere where you can like, meet some of the wildlife, the animals, not the fans, and then like hold the snakes and meet a koala and all that kind of stuff?
This is my plan. See, I've got so much time in Sydney, but the place that I want to go to is Steve Irwin Zoo in Brisbane. So like Steve Irwin's my lifetime hero. I've always said it. I used to cry about him in uni for no reason. I feel like it was just the worst thing in the world. And that's kind of like I would love to go. I obviously love Robert and Bindi as well. So like the thought of even going there is incredible to me. But I've been offered like wildlife sanctuaries everywhere I went, and basically I love animals, so I could go here as well. It's not going to ruin it for me. But the special place that I want to go to, isn't it called just the Australian Zoo?
Yeah, it's the Australian Zoo. I was going to ask you about that because I do remember how much you love Steve Irwin. You were talking about it at one of your press conferences last year. So that's great to hear that you're going to be going to
True.
Australia Zoo, which is awesome. Slightly off topic, back to like when you were doing your shows, you obviously got to catch up with a couple of the artists.
Oh yeah.
Sheldon Riley, obviously someone that you did Eurovision with last year. Was it nice to connect with someone who went through the same experience as you did?
But like me and Sheldon haven't stopped talking since the Eurovision ended last year. So we actually met in London, and he didn't understand me. Like it was like, who made you in a factory? You're the most messed up person I've ever met. And I'm like, Sheldon, baby, like we can like he honestly is the funniest person ever, and he's been so good to me, so good to me since I've been here. Spending time with him in Melbourne was one of the highlights. Definitely, he's just an artist, and you know what's so funny? I was performing in Melbourne, and he was at the back of the room, so I couldn't see him. But I came off stage, and he was like, "You can actually sing." I'm so impressed. It's like that Rich doesn't really show off your vocals too much. So the fact that I got that compliment was like Jesus telling me I was, I don't know, the Messiah.
That's that's kind of like a backhanded compliment in a way, I
No,
guess,
it
but
is,
it's
but
a
that's what
lovely
he
compliment.
does. No, it is.
You know it's
Sheldon,
genuine. You know it's genuine, don't you?
he never lies to me. He
Yeah.
never lies to me.
And on the flip side, you would have got to meet Voyager over in Perth, who are on their
Yeah.
way to go and do Eurovision. Did you have any advice for them
They
going
actually
to the
asked
contest?
me, yeah, look, them boys are so lovely and they're so up for it. Obviously, it's their second time. They've been trying to get there for a few years. Massive Eurovision fans. They're going to be incredible. And I love their song.
Mm.
Like, it's so good. So good. So, yeah, no, them boys were incredible. And I just says to them, look, it's going to be over before you know it. And if you don't do everything that you can, you'll be annoyed at yourself. So just say yes to everything, indulge in the people around you, and just lap it up. Like there's no advice because I said to them, "Look, will you be nervous going on stage?" And they said, "No, we've been doing this our whole lives." And I said, "Well, then the only thing you have to do is enjoy it because that's the thing that transpires most."
And talking about Eurovision last year, you had that absolutely banging pop song. We loved
Mm.
it. Australia, the public in Australia, I think gave 8 points from memory. Looking back on it a year later, how was that whole experience for you? And do you feel like it was a really good thing for your career in the long run?
I wouldn't change anything I've ever done. Like everything has just been perfect and shaping me as a performer, shaping me as a person. And the Eurovision is I owe a lot of myself to Eurovision now because I had all that music that we released after way before Eurovision was even there, but I knew nobody cared or wanted to hear what I had to say. So Eurovision gave me the opportunity to show people both sides of me, like the artist and the person, and people like that, I guess. So it's just been it's been something I'll never forget, and I mean, in the future, hopefully, something I can be a part of.
And you've got a bit of time off now between your shows. You've done obviously Perth and Melbourne and Adelaide, and then you've got Sydney and Brisbane coming up soon, which we'll
Yeah.
chat about in a tick. What are you doing with this downtime in a way? I've heard you might be doing some songwriting.
Yeah, so I haven't had downtime. Today's my first day, and I woke up at 12, so that was good. And you just get up at like 6 here. Your days begin so early, so I've missed my whole day, but it's fine. I'm rested. So basically, I've been in the studio with an Australian producer, and we've been making bangers, to be honest. And we filmed a really funny like TikTok last night at the Grand Opera House. So we used to say the Grand Opera House. That's Belfast. It's just the
It's
Opera House,
Sydney,
isn't it?
Sydney Opera, just the Opera House, but it's
But
pretty
she's so
grand.
grand.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so we filmed the TikTok there, and the security guard was like, "Get off, get off the thing." I was like, "No, no, no, this could be viral." He goes, "You've got 1 minute." I think that's all I need. So it was really funny. But we've just been like making lots of music out here because I'm inspired. I'm getting
Nice.
inspiration every day. Yeah.
I'm loving the sound of like an Australian Irish banger coming our way. That sounds great.
Really
Uh,
cool.
and talking about the show, so obviously you've got Sydney coming up on Friday the 14th and Brisbane on the 15th, Brisbane where we are. What can people expect from your performance at going to the parties? What can they expect?
You can expect a really fun, energetic performance because I've got my dancers and they add so much, like so much. Marty and Adrian, the interaction with the boys is just incredible. You'll feel the energy in the room. Like as soon as we get up the dance floor, just you have to be on it or you're not allowed back.
No, it sounds good. We can't wait to see it. And I did hear a rumor that
Mm.
you might want to do a shoey during your time here. Have you done a shoey
Uh,
yet? Are you gonna do a shoey?
My shoes are rotten is the problem. So like if I bought new shoes, I would do it. And then I'm like, well, Ronan had just washed his, and I was like, yeah, but then you'd be walking around with a soggy foot all night. So I don't know where the balance is. Maybe if someone brings a shoe that's clean to the show, I'll do a shoe. I don't care.
We'll make sure there's one in Brisbane that's clean for you. We'll get some. Yeah,
Ah!
we'll do it. We
What a
have
way
to
to
do it.
close. Oh, okay, cool. I'm in.
So we want to beat Sydney. So hopefully Sydney doesn't do one there as well.
You can do
So
it.
yeah, and also just quickly, you've just come off Dancing with the Stars, as you
Hmm.
mentioned earlier. I mean, what an experience! Was that easier or tougher than Eurovision? It must be so different.
It was tougher. It
Really?
was it was a lot tougher.
Yeah.
In terms of there was different aspects that made it tougher. Like you were so exposed for the whole time that you were there. I don't know, I felt like people had this expectations from me. Whereas I had no expectations in Eurovision. Nobody they grew to love me, but at the start it was like, who is this girl? Whereas maybe even Dancing with the Stars, I put more pressure on myself. But it all worked. It was more I matured a lot throughout the whole process. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
learned how
Yeah.
TV works. I learned like a lot of different things about myself. And I feel like going on Dancing with the Stars has made me a better person in terms of I appreciate everything and everything that I get from the music industry. And it really increased my love of performing because it gave me another side to show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
That totally makes sense.
it was really, really, really like massive experience. Like I'll never forget that, to be fair.
You're awesome. You're robbed. You should have won. And then
How many
also,
times is
I know. Yeah, plenty of time. Yeah, but you're still smashing it, of course. And like, I guess you've had so like Dancing with the Stars, and you've had this tour at the moment. Have you been able to catch up with what's happening for Eurovision 2023? Have you heard any of the kind of songs?
Do you know what I have? But like even whenever I'm doing the shows, they obviously do listening parties to what's coming on. So I've really got time to get like to fall in love with different artists in different countries. I obviously listen at the start, but it's not the same. I can actually hear people cheering for certain people, and every like area of Australia is different. Like maybe some people will go like, and then others it's like you can hear when people fall in love with different artists, and that's what it's all about. So I don't know what I'll be doing for Liverpool. Hopefully, I'll be there. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
And nice. So after you finish Sydney and you finish Brisbane, do you have any plans to spend any extra time in Australia, or is it straight back home?
I'm gonna go to Bali
Oh, nice,
when I
nice.
miss Tara, and then Olivian's like holiday there, and I'm like, right, well, what's the big deal? I'm gonna go and find out for myself. I actually have friends who live there, which is cool.
Oh,
But like
nice.
but look, Sydney, I'm I'm basically doing everything now and like seeing everything that I can, and it's been so beautiful so far. We've done loads of things. So, well, aside from the studio.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do you
Well,
have a place called Baxter's Inn, which is like a speakeasy? It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
oh, wow. Nice. Well, I don't know, but we'll have to check that one out. Well, look,
Yeah,
Brooke, you have been amazing. The fact that I think by the time you've spent a month in Australia, you're basically going to be an honorary Australian. You're going on a holiday to Bali. That's the most Australian thing you could ever do.
I
So,
know.
like, you're basically
I
becoming an
know.
Aussie. I love it. I love it. So, look, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. We can't wait to see you in Brisbane.
I
We'll
can't
do that
wait.
shoey and enjoy the rest of your time in Sydney.
Put a summer stay in it, please.
Of course, we will.
Stunning.
Thanks so much. Catch ya.
See you then.